Lara, a quiet and hard-working civil servant in her late 20s, returns home after a long and tiring day at the office. Her bag is heavy on her shoulder, and all she wants is a hot bath and some quiet. But as she opens the gate to her house, she notices two unfamiliar cars parked outside. Her brows furrow. When she walks into the living room, her heart skips. Her parents, her younger sister Tolu, and two strange men are standing in the middle of the room with measuring tapes and notebooks. The furniture has been pushed aside. Boxes of decorations are stacked in one corner. The air smells like fresh paint and tension. Lara drops her keys on the table. "What's going on here?" she asks, confused. Her mother doesn't even look at her. With a quick wave of her hand, she says, "We're using your house as the venue for your sister's wedding." Lara stares, not sure she heard right. "What?" Her father speaks up, tone sharp and dismissive. "Tolu is getting married in 2 weeks. It's a big event. Her fiancé's family is expecting something grand. This is the most decent place we have. But this is my house," Lara says softly. Her voice is trembling. "You didn't even ask me. You should be happy," her mother snaps. "Your sister is marrying well. Or do you want her to be ashamed of where she comes from?" Lara feels like she can't breathe. This house, every wall, every tile, every chair, was bought with her sweat. 5 years of saving, skipping meals, and long bus rides to work. She built this home alone, without help from anyone. And now, they were treating it like a rented hall. One of the decorators walks past her without even a glance, stretching a tape from wall to wall. Someone else asks where the sockets are for lighting. Lara doesn't answer. She just stands there, staring at the people she calls family. No one looks at her. No one says thank you. No one asks if it's okay. In that moment, Lara realizes something. She doesn't belong here, not even in her own home. Lara has always been the responsible daughter. After their family's financial collapse years ago, she was the one who stepped up. She gave up her university admission, packed away her dreams, and went out to find any job that would help keep the family afloat. At just 19, she was paying rent, buying food, and doing the work that her father refused to admit needed doing. Tolu, her younger sister, never faced such pressure. She was the baby of the house, the beautiful one, the favorite. Their mother pampered her, their father protected her, and no one expected her to lift a finger. While Lara worked 2 shifts, Tolu posted pictures from campus parties, took money from Lara without thanks, and always got the last piece of meat at dinner. When things got worse and they were evicted, it was Lara who took her savings to rent a 1-room apartment for them all. Her father had just come out of the hospital, bills unpaid. Her mother refused to work. Lara covered it all, quietly, without applause, without resentment, at least not at first. Years later, she finally got a chance to study again, part-time, while working as a clerk in a ministry office. She got a promotion, she saved, and at 27, she bought a small bungalow in a developing area outside Lagos. It wasn't flashy, but it was hers. The tiles were plain, the paint soft, the kitchen small but perfect. She called it home. But her parents moved in temporarily and never left. They said it was their right, that this is a family house. When visitors came, her mother introduced it proudly. "Yes, this is our house. We built it together." Lara said nothing, just smiled tightly and served drinks. She doesn't have many friends. She's quiet at work, polite but distant. Most weekends, she stays home, tending her small backyard garden or cooking in silence. Peaceful things, gentle things. But inside, a soft ache sits in her chest. It comes and goes, this feeling of being invisible, of being good, but not loved. Tolu still acts like the house is hers too. She comes in, makes noise, leaves a mess, never asks before using Lara's things. She once told a friend right in front of Lara, she likes being alone. She's the boring one. Lara didn't respond. Now Tolu is marrying Tunde, a wealthy man from a well-known family. She's only 25, but their parents act like she just won an Olympic medal. They talk about the wedding non-stop, about the food, the guests, the image. Not once have they asked Lara how she feels about anything. Mrs. Alade, their mother, plays both soft and cruel. She'll say things like, "You should try makeup sometimes. Maybe you'd also find a husband." Or, "You don't need to cook all the time. Who are you cooking for, really?" When Lara tries to speak, she cuts her off or sighs loudly. Mr. Alade, their father, barely talks to Lara unless he needs something. He still holds on to old beliefs. Men come first. Beauty matters. Women should be quiet and obedient. He respects strength in men, but sees Lara's quiet strength as coldness. They all see her silence as weakness. They never think she might be quiet because she's tired, or lonely, or just done trying. But Lara sees everything. She hears every word they say when they think she's not listening. She watches them laugh at her expense, make plans without her, take what is hers and call it theirs. She doesn't fight them. She never has. But something inside her is starting to shift. As preparations ramp up, Lara tries to assert herself. "You can't just use my house without asking," she says, standing in the middle of the living room, now half covered in fabric swatches and decoration samples. Her father doesn't even look up from the call he's making. When he finishes, he turns to her and says flatly, "This house belongs to this family, and you're part of it. Stop being selfish." Lara stands still, her fists clenched. Her voice tightens. "I built this house. I paid for it." Her mother walks past with a tray of drinks. "Yes, and you'll still be living here after everyone leaves. Let your sister enjoy her moment. No one cares what she thinks." She watches Tolu laugh with the event planner, choosing tablecloth colors and flower arrangements. Everything is happening fast. Deliveries arriving, strangers moving things around, a growing buzz that she never asked for, and she has no say. Later that week, Lara comes back from work to find her bedroom door wide open. Her clothes are gone, folded into boxes and pushed against the wall. A plastic sign reads, "Bride's dressing room." Her mirror, her shelves, even her toiletries have been moved. Her bedspread is gone, replaced with white satin. She stands there for a full minute, too shocked to move. Her personal space, her small sanctuary, taken over without a word. She finds Tolu in the kitchen and speaks in a low, strained voice. "You cleared my room without asking me." Tolu doesn't stop stirring her tea. "It's just for a few days. You're not even here half the time. Don't be so dramatic. It's not about that. It's my room." Tolu rolls her eyes. "Honestly, Lara, this attitude is tiring. You'll still be single at 30 and bitter if you keep acting like this. Try smiling more for once." Lara's throat burns. She leaves the kitchen before she says something she'll regret. That night, while walking past the living room, she hears voices, laughter. She pauses. Her parents are sitting with two visitors, most likely from Tunde's side. Her father chuckles, saying, "Tolu's husband is building a duplex already. This small house was just a stepping stone her sister could manage." Her mother adds, "But it came in handy, didn't it? At least we didn't have to rent a hall." They laugh again. Lara turns away before they see her. She walks into the backyard, where she used to sit after long days, planting her tomatoes and mint leaves. Her eyes sting as she kneels by the garden bed. This space, this patch of green, is the only part of the house untouched. She buries her face in her hands and lets the tears fall, quiet, bitter, heavy. The next morning, Tolu casually announces that her fiancé's family will be sleeping over in the house the night before the wedding. "They'll need to stay close," she says, sipping juice at the dining table. "They'll be using your room, so you can sleep in the storage room or something." Lara stares at her. "My room?" Tolu shrugs. "They're guests. You should be more accommodating." Her mother agrees. "It's just one night. Don't make a scene. No one asks if it's okay. It's just decided." Lara doesn't argue anymore. She nods once, then walks away. But something inside her changes that. Something quiet but sharp, like a thread finally snapping after being pulled too tight for too long. She goes to her room that night, what's left of it, and sits on the floor. Her things are packed away, her pillows gone, her walls stripped bare. It doesn't feel like her room anymore. It doesn't feel like her house. She looks around and realizes that everything they took from her, her space, her dignity, her voice, they never once said thank you. She sleeps on the floor, using a shawl as a blanket. The next day at work, she doesn't tell anyone what's happening, but her colleague Uchi, who has noticed the sadness in her eyes, invites her to lunch. She hesitates, then agrees. Over rice and stew in a quiet canteen, he listens. She tells him everything, not just about the wedding, but the years before it. The sacrifices, the insults, the loneliness. Uchi doesn't interrupt. When she finishes, he says gently, "You know you have rights. You don't owe them your life." Lara looks down. "But they're my family, and you're not their property," he replies. She nods slowly. That night, she pulls out her file of house documents from her drawer. The deed is in her name. Every receipt, every paper, every proof, hers. She sits for hours, reading it all again, as if confirming her own truth. She still doesn't know what she's going to do, but for the first time, she feels something she hasn't felt in years, the right to choose. Lara begins to withdraw, emotionally numb. At work, she breaks down in the bathroom, sliding to the floor, her hands shaking, the tears coming before she can stop them. She doesn't sob. She doesn't make a sound, just sits there in her neatly ironed shirt, staring at nothing, wondering when she stopped being seen as a human being. She doesn't hear Uche enter until he knocks gently on the stall door. "Lara," he says softly, "you all right?" She opens the door slowly, eyes red, cheeks damp. He says nothing at first, just hands her a bottle of water and leans on the wall beside her. Uche is the kind of person who listens before he speaks. Not loud, not judgmental, just present. Eventually, in that quiet, tiled room, Lara starts talking. Not all at once, but enough. About the house, her family, the wedding, how everything she built is being taken from her like she doesn't matter, how Tolu laughs at her, and her parents call her bitter, how tired she is of giving and being invisible. Uche listens, and when she finishes, he doesn't try to comfort her with false hope. He just says, "You have to draw the line, Lara. You don't need permission to protect yourself." She nods slowly, wiping her face. "I don't even know where to start. Let's begin with the house. Do you have your documents?" "I do." "Then bring them. Tonight. I'll help you." That evening, Lara brings out the folder she's hidden under her bed for years. Land deed, purchase receipts, construction records, everything in her name. She meets Uche in a quiet cafe. He reviews them carefully, then looks up. "It's all yours." No question. The confirmation brings something unexpected. Not relief, but a strange, quiet anger. So much had been taken from her in that house, and none of it was theirs to begin with. Encouraged by Uche, Lara begins to take small steps. She visits a law firm, quietly, discreetly. She meets a young female lawyer who listens carefully and helps her begin drafting an official eviction notice, one she can legally serve her parents and sister with, should it come to that. Meanwhile, things at home grow worse. Mrs. Alade stops speaking to her directly and begins to accuse her behind her back. She's jealous. "That's why she's acting cold," she says loudly enough for Lara to hear. "Her younger sister is getting married and she can't stand it." Mr. Alade becomes openly cruel. One morning, after Lara quietly asks them to keep the noise down at 5 a.m, he says, "If you push us out now, don't expect our blessing again. You think you'll succeed without your family behind you?" Tolu spreads her poison more subtly. Lara overhears her on the phone telling someone from Tunde's side, "She's going through something, emotionally unstable. Just ignore her mood swings." Each day, Lara feels her dignity erode a little more. She begins quietly packing her valuables, her certificates, her savings booklets, a few pieces of jewelry, some clothes. She hides them in a box in Uchi's car one evening without telling anyone. She's not sure what she's going to do with the eviction notice yet, but it's there, signed, legal. Then comes the night before the wedding. Lara returns from work and pauses at her own gate. The street is blocked with cars. Lights are everywhere, music already playing. Tents have been raised across the compound. The front of the house is covered in cloth and ribbons. She pushes through a crowd of strangers who barely glance at her. Inside, she is stunned. Her living room, her quiet, simple space, is unrecognizable. Chandeliers hang from rented frames. Coolers line the hallway. Her sofa is gone, replaced with a velvet white throne and flower walls. The floor is covered in red carpet. There are at least 100 people walking around, caterers, family friends, strangers. She hears someone say, "The bride's family has taste. This house is lovely." A man she doesn't recognize, drunk and loud, approaches her. "Auntie, please bring more cups. They're short outside." Lara stares at him, speechless. He sees her expression and frowns. "Wait, you're not the house girl?" Before she can respond, he walks away laughing. She turns to her mother, who stands nearby, sipping a drink and chatting with an auntie. "You heard that," Lara says, voice low. Mrs. Alade doesn't flinch. "You dress like a helper. What do you expect?" That's it. Lara walks away, into the back room. She sits down for a few minutes, trying to calm the shaking in her chest. Then she goes to her father's room and asks him for a private word. He sits on the edge of his bed, adjusting his agbada, clearly impatient. "What now?" Lara tries, one last time. "This is my house, Daddy. All I asked for was respect, and you've all ignored me." treated me like furniture. He chuckles. You sound bitter, like someone who hates seeing her sister happy. You should smile more. She looks at him for a long time. I built this place, and you all decided I didn't matter. He stands. We're not having this conversation now. Tomorrow is your sister's big day. Don't ruin it. Her face is calm, steady, her voice barely above a whisper. I won't ruin it. I promise. But something inside her snaps, quietly, finally, not in anger, in clarity. She walks back to her stripped room, sits on the edge of the bed, and exhales deeply. It will be the last night they ever walk over her. At 6 a.m. on the wedding day, the street outside Lara's house is quiet, still wrapped in that early morning calm. But within minutes, it's broken. Sirens wail softly as 2 vans pull up to the gate. Uniformed police officers and court bailiffs step out with firm, practiced precision. Inside the compound, the caterers preparing early breakfast dishes freeze. One of them drops a tray of meat pies. A murmur starts, spreading quickly. Confused voices rise. Some people rush to the windows. Tolu's makeup artist stares from the hallway, half-finished foundation brush in hand. Lara steps out from her back room, fully dressed in a sharp navy blue suit, her hair pulled back neatly, her face calm. There is no tremble in her hands, no hesitation in her steps. She holds the eviction notice and house deed in a brown file, and her heels click against the tiled floor like punctuation marks. She walks outside and signals to the lead bailiff. Begin. The officers start by asking everyone to step outside the house. They read the court order aloud. This property belongs solely to Miss Lara Alade. As per legal documentation and court approval, any unauthorized occupants are hereby ordered to vacate immediately. The guests gather, some with cups of tea still in hand. Confusion grows louder. Tolu, still in a silk robe, storms outside. What is this madness? Mrs. Alade rushes after her. Lara, what are you doing? Mr. Alade follows behind them, barefoot and furious. But Lara doesn't answer them. Instead, she walks up to the small platform set for the wedding reception, where the DJ was meant to start later, and takes the microphone from the stand. The speakers are already connected. The sound is loud and clear. She faces the crowd, now fully gathered in the compound. Her voice is steady, calm. My name is Lara Alade. I built this house with my own hands, with my salary, my sacrifice, and my silence. For years, I carried my family on my back, paid their bills, funded their education, covered their mistakes. And this week, they decided to repay me by turning my home into a venue without asking. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Tolu covers her face in disbelief. I gave everything, and in return, I was mocked, insulted, and pushed aside. This morning, I take back what's mine, not out of bitterness, but because I deserve respect. Then she turns to face her family directly. This house is no longer yours to enter. The bailiffs move in. The decorators are instructed to begin taking down the cloth and chairs. The power is cut. The DJ equipment is unplugged. The house gate is locked from the inside. Tolu screams, "Are you insane? You ruined everything!" Lara turns to her, her voice soft but firm. I saved myself. Tolu's fiancé, Tundi, steps forward in shock. Wait, this is her house, not yours. Tolu stutters, eyes darting. I mean, we all live here. No, Lara cuts in. You lived here as guests, without rent, without gratitude. Mrs. Alade tries to plead. Lara, we didn't mean... You meant every word, Lara says. Every insult, every silence, every time you looked away when they humiliated me in front of strangers. Mr. Alade steps forward and shouts, "You think you can bring police to my house? I'm still your father." He tries to shove past a bailiff. In seconds, he's restrained. He swings his arm wildly and hits an officer. There's a sharp command, then handcuffs. He's arrested on the spot for assaulting an officer of the law. Screams break out. Tolu yells. Mrs. Alade wails. Some guests begin to back away awkwardly. A few pull out phones to film. In the middle of the chaos, Uche walks up and stands quietly beside Lara, not saying anything, just present. Tunde pulls Tolu aside, angry and humiliated. You lied to me. You let me walk into this nonsense thinking your family had money. This is how you operate. They argue in front of everyone, harsh and bitter. Tunde's mother pulls him away. Let's go. This girl is a disgrace. The wedding is off. The chairs are packed up, the tents taken down. By midday, the house is nearly empty. Lara watches it all happen from the small step of her front door. She doesn't cry, she doesn't smile, she simply breathes. And for the first time, in a long time, it feels like her own breath. Lara spends the following week quietly, carefully reclaiming her space, both the house and the space within herself. The wedding chaos is gone. The noise, the disrespect, the crowds, all of it, gone. What's left is the mess they made, the physical one and the emotional one. She starts with the physical. The morning after the eviction, she removes every remnant of the event. Stray decorations, crushed plastic cups in the bushes, the ruined carpet dragged across her once pristine floors. She hires a cleaner for the heavy work, but she does most of it herself, scrubbing the tiles, dusting the windows, washing the front porch. It isn't just about cleanliness. It's about reclaiming something that was taken. She changes all the locks, every single one, the gate, the doors, even the windows. It feels like closing a door in her heart that's been swinging open for years, open to manipulation, guilt, duty. She's not that woman anymore. She donates the furniture her parents brought. Every couch, cabinet, side table, they're taken by a local charity. She buys simple, minimal replacements. She rearranges the living room to face the garden, not the television. She wants to start looking forward now. One evening, Uche visits. He comes with a small bouquet of flowers and a fresh copy of a legal document template. "I know it's early," he says with a smile, "but this is a good time to update your property deed. Add a clause, just in case anyone ever tries anything again." She smiles for real, for the first time in days. "Thank you." They sit together on the back patio while she signs it. He doesn't stay long. There's no pressure, no words about feelings or the future. Just a quiet support that says, "You're not alone, but you're in control." 2 days later, her phone buzzes. It's a message from her mother. "We need to talk. Family should not fight like this." Lara reads it once, then sets the phone down. She doesn't reply, not out of spite, but out of peace. She has nothing left to explain. Her silence is the clearest answer she's ever given. Instead of letting the pain define her, Lara finally pours her energy into something of her own. She starts a small catering service from her kitchen, garden-to-table meals, local dishes made from ingredients she grows in her backyard. Egusi, jollof rice with fresh basil, zobo drinks with mint. She starts small, taking orders through Instagram and referrals from colleagues. It's not about making millions. It's about choosing her own life for the first time. The work is hard, but fulfilling. Her hands stay busy. Her mind stays clear. Some nights, she still feels the weight of everything. Not regret, but exhaustion. The kind that comes after carrying a family on your back for too long. But the house is quiet now, peaceful, the way she once dreamed it would be. She sits on the porch at sunset, barefoot, sipping tea, watching the garden she built bloom again. And for the first time, she lets herself believe she can begin again, on her terms, in her space, with dignity, with strength, with peace. Lara sits alone in her backyard one quiet evening, a soft breeze moving through the trees she planted with her own hands. The sky glows faint orange, fading into blue. The air smells like mint and wet soil. She has a cup of warm tea in her hand and a thin envelope in her lap. She opens it gently. A letter she wrote to herself 5 years ago, folded and hidden in the back of her journal. The ink has faded slightly, but the words are still clear. "One day, you will live in a place where no one can silence you, a place that feels like peace. You will look around and see only what you chose. No shame, no noise, just you and freedom." She reads it twice, maybe 3 times. Her lips curl into a soft smile. And then, the tears come. Not the hot, heavy tears of anger or heartbreak, but light ones. The kind that fall when something inside finally exhales. She presses the letter against her chest and lets the silence hold her. For the first time, she doesn't feel small. A knock at the gate interrupts the stillness. She doesn't jump or panic. She sets down her cup, wipes her cheeks with the back of her hand, and walks slowly toward the gate. Her steps are steady, her shoulders relax. She's not afraid anymore, not of what's waiting outside, not of being alone. She opens the gate. Whatever is on the other side, friend or stranger, closure or beginning, she is ready for it. Because Lara, at last, is standing on her own soil, and she's not giving it up for anyone. If Lara's strength inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. for more stories of courage and redemption. Your support helps us tell more real, emotional stories. See you in the next one.